It is. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Six Questions with Alona. We're doing a remote version today, which is kind of fun and unique. So we'll do our best to fight through technological problems and make our way through it. Today we have with us Monik. She is one of our faculty members at Irvine Valley College, who we love. She teaches hip hop, African, intro to dance, and probably a lot more that I'm forgetting. So hi, Monik.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes. Okay. So first question is, how did you come to IVC? How did we get you?
Honestly, you got me from another faculty member. Her name was Kana Benz. We went to graduate school together at UCI, and she was telling me, she was like, oh, they're looking for an African teacher. And I was like, okay. And so she put my name in with our then department chair, Ted Weatherford.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually how I got over here. I got over here teaching an African class. And so,
yeah. I love it.
Thank you, Kana.
Yeah, thank you, Kana. We love you. All right, so we're going to speak about your piece, Optimism, from the fall semester, which we'll be showing a video of as well, either before or after this. What was the inspiration of that piece?
Honestly, 2020 was a lot happening in my life personally. Mm-hmm. And so I just had to have this optimistic outlook that things were going to get better. The weight of the world was going to come off my shoulders, come off all of our shoulders, and that things were going to be better. And so as I was working on the choreography, I was teaching a contemporary dance class at Cerritos. And so I was using some of that material that I was working on, and then I would take it and like deconstruct it for the cast members. So it was really cool to have this opportunity for me to have this way of working with my students in class, and then having that ideal and then deconstructing it for the stage. And that's actually how the piece worked. And it was great because when it premiered, my students from Cerritos came to watch it to see their aspects of it. And so it was really cool to have that dual support from the different schools that I work at. But yeah, it was really just an opportunity for me to be like, the weight of the world is going to come off our shoulders. I had a movement motif that I used a lot. And so that kind of just came up like feeling consumed by everything, but knowing that there was going to be an end, and it was going to be glorious, and it was going to happen. So that's kind of how the piece developed.
Oh, I love it. So the third question is kind of what you already touched on, but the process of creating the piece. So working at one school, bringing it to our dancers, doing it a little differently. Can you talk through just like a little bit more about that, like how you process it?
So it was really the first time I had ever done something like that I've actually worked, was like really, I was working, it's interesting because when I'm working with the students at Cerritos, it was a contemporary class. I was actually using spoken word. It was a song that now I can't even think of the artist, and that's so bad. So it was that was terrible. I can't think of it. It's Sam. What is his name? I can't even think of the song, so it's terrible.
But if you know of any spoken word songs by Sam, look it up, and it'll probably be that one.
I'm sure I'll figure it out in a minute. But
we'll add it in the caption.
I can't even think. And so I was working with that particular ideal. It was very interesting because I'm teaching a contemporary class, and I'm also was teaching. So one day a week it was contemporary, the other day a week it was liturgical. And so I would take the same opening for both pieces, but put them to do for music, and try to really use the ideal of energy and expression and commitment to the motifs in a different way, so the pieces will look differently. So if you turn the music off, no matter what piece you saw the same angst and sorrow and pressure. And so that was what sparked me to say, well, if I can do that with these two songs, what if I changed the whole music and then really deconstructed the piece? And that's where it started to work, where I had my, originally I had a cast of 5. In the piece you're going to see it's 3, but I had a cast of 5. So I thought, okay, I can deconstruct this piece for these 5 dancers, and we can do it in this way. And then as things progressed through the semester, I ended up having 3 dancers, and it just worked out where the piece just came together in that way. And so it just, once I had that solid sections that I knew that I wanted to do, and I had the emotional connection that I wanted them. There's one section where their hands are together and they're going in a circle. I really felt like they needed to have that energy of like, okay, someone else is going through the same thing I'm going through. And so it was great to be able to take those emotions that came with that song that I was dancing to at Cerritos, deconstruct it and put it into the piece for the dancers. So that's
what a unique process to.
It was. And I was open to it. That was one of the great things about the pandemic is that it allowed me to be open to processes that I would have been like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But because we have these different things and we were kind of forced to, create in different ways, I've been so open to allowing things to just come and not being so rigorous about it. I think the rigor of choreography is still there, but I've relaxed in the opportunity of letting things happen and being, let it be very organic for it to happen. And I think that's what happened with this process.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Speaking of 2020 and COVID and all those things, what were some challenges that you faced, or maybe some uplifting things that you faced coming back to campus post break?
It's been nice to be back on campus. Let me just be honest. It's been good. It's been good. Last year coming back, the challenges were our space wasn't ready, so we were like not, we were still displaced as a dance department, but our wonderful department chair made it work for us. And I have to give hats off, hands up to our
yes, for Jen, always.
Chair. Hands up. She's like amazing, guys. Jennifer Lecrae, she's like amazing. And so that was, I guess that's one of the best parts is getting to see you guys, getting to see our faculty member who we had always saw on Zoom and being able to like have an audition with them and being able to, see them doing tech and see them doing our weeks and seeing our students and having them, be excited about being back and, struggling through, if they're sick or whatever, but just being, excited about us coming back together. So that's been like the highlight of it. And so it continues because we're just looking forward to more and more students to come back to school and come back to take dance with us. We're looking forward to our new facility that's going to be built. We were looking forward to all these great things. So that's always the in-person, the connection to have one another is amazing. I always say IBC is a dance family. We really do care about each other. And so it's nice to be like having a little reunion and get to see everybody and check in and stuff like that.
Oh, the audition, that fall audition was just like, oh, we're home.
It was so special.
It was so great. Nice. Yeah, I totally agree. So for your piece, so we kind of talked about like the dance process of it, but how did you use the other visuals, i.e. the lighting and the costumes? Kind of what role did those things play in creating the story you were trying to tell?
And it's so funny because we have fabulous people in our costume department and fabulous people with our lighting. I never have to struggle or worry about that. I literally allow them I give them like sparse information basically, and they amazingly, develop what I need to them to develop. I've been working with Kristol since I was at UCI in graduate school. We just connected. She was I don't know if she probably was getting her master's at the same time in lighting. So we connected over a piece I did back then called I can remember that piece. It was like basically coming out of the dark. It was about depression, about people who wear masks. And so she just, every time I have a conversation, she just gets what I'm talking about. And so that's rare. It's a rarity.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. So I just told her again, this is about optimism, the weight of the world. I gave her some adjectives to kind of describe the feeling and the emotion. And she just did her magic, like literally. And the same thing with Christina in our costumes. I gave her a look. I said I did want one person to look a little different. And so that character looked a little different. I have 4 dancers and not 3. I said 4. I said 3.
Oh, you do have 4. I forgot about that.
I just realized, I was like, we had 2 different costumes.
Yeah.
So I gave her that, and I gave her like the color scheme, and she did it. And so
those costumes were so good.
It's an amazing, and I had such a great relationship with our previous costume designer, Nancy. And so just to have her step right in and just get me,
Totally.
and just so willing to support us. And again, these are rarities at school. Some schools don't have what we have, and so I'm really grateful. And I want them to have their experience as well, and I want it to be fruitful, because sometimes it can be very specific, and the choreographer needs this.
Yeah.
But I like to collaborate. I'm a collaborative kind of choreographer in that way. And so I want them to do their best work. I want them to feel what they see in the piece. And sometimes that helps me see things in the piece. And so when the lighting and the costume kind of comes together in that way, it's magnificent. And that, I really did think that this piece came together in that way.
Yeah.
Because of these two wonderful women.
Well, it's nice because the people that we have doing those jobs are so creative themselves. And if you give them that reign, they take it, and it's beautiful. We're spoiled rotten at IVC, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
And I don't want it to ever change.
We never want it to leave. We love them. Right. We want them there all the time, constantly. We want them all for ourselves. Okay, so our last and final question is, what advice do you have for anyone who is thinking about getting into choreography or making movement works, whatever that could mean for them? Any advice for new and upcoming choreographers?
I say do it. You have an ideal, start to manipulate that movement, put it on video. Choreography is about play, literally, in my opinion. It's about exploration and discovery. You explore these movement principles, these movement ideals, concepts of sunrise and sunset, or whatever things that you are interested in, and explore them in space, explore them on the floor, explore them with fabric, explore, play, and out of that, beautiful things can come. That's just my teaching philosophy. That's my artistic philosophy. I think life is about playing, and I think that we don't play enough. And so I would say go for it, and you can with play, there are some rules. You can have some rules if you want, but then sometimes you have play and there's like no rules, and that's okay as well. So I would say if you feel like you're getting stuck in your play, then give yourself some rules, give yourself some parameters. Say, I'm going to, do this on the left side, or whatever it is. But I say, and you don't need a studio to play. You just need a camera. And that's what we discovered during the pandemic. Totally. You need a camera and your body and your willingness to do the work and play. And so I would say do that. Also, we have at IVC a great choreography class that kind of leads you through improv. We have great improv classes. But even learning how to play, you have to have movement material. So if you're needing to be inspired by movement, come take class. Mm-hmm. Come take our modern class, come take our ballet classes, come take our African, I'm teaching African in the fall, our hip hop classes, because you'll see, you can begin to sharpen your eye as how your instructor is leading you. And that can help you as well in terms of how you can glean and how you can be able to play with movement, and you'll get more movement material. You kind of see how they put things together. Mm-hmm. And that can help you with, again, quote unquote, the rules of things. You can say, I'm going to use the rule of cruise, and I'm going to, really use the quick and the slow, and I'm going to use my levels, and so you get to pick up on things, and you're going to expand your vocabulary and your awareness of movement. So choreographers need to be out and doing movement and taking classes and, playing.
Yeah. I love that. That was great advice, Monik.
Yeah.
So everyone, please enjoy the piece Optimism by our wonderful Miss Monik Jones. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.